Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning. Today I'm looking at the LA Chargers and talking about whether or not they should pursue wide receiver Antonio Brown. Before getting to that topic, question for those of you viewing, comment down below your thoughts on this topic because I know a lot of you might get hyped up by this. A lot of you might be turned off about it and want nothing to do with Antonio Brown. So comment down below your thoughts. But for me, the answer is yes. Chargers fans, before you harp on me, give me a second to explain at least my opinion on why you should at least consider. I'm not saying go out and sign the guy today, give him a contract, but at least consider it. Looking at the receiving core, you might say, well, we don't need it. We got 6'3", 6'4", Keenan Allen. He does the job. Mike Williams, yeah, he's on a fifth-year contract, and we don't know what we're going to do with him long-term, but he's the same thing. 6'3", 6'4", when he's healthy, he could go up and get it. Jared Cook, mentorship. He could teach Donald Parham, our 6'8" tight end freak. We're going to be fine. Austin Eckler out of the backfield, we're going to be fine. Yes, the receiving core is fine, but it is not fantastic. It is not great. It is not going to be the reason you go out and beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Antonio Brown, he could be this small X factor that we all think, yes, the LA Chargers are making the wild card spot this year. We all think they're going 10-7, 10 wins, 11 wins, 12 wins, 9 wins. We think they'll be good enough to get a wild card spot, but Antonio Brown can be the guy that can make you a AFC West division title competitor, a guy that can take down the Chiefs. If Keenan Allen's getting double teamed, Antonio Brown is now the guy that can win one-on-one matchups. If Antonio Brown's getting double teamed, Keenan Allen can win those one-on-one matchups. This receiving core, I just think, could go to the next level, and I understand there's risk. Antonio Brown is a drama queen. We don't know if he's mentally okay, but he was fine in Tampa. And some say, well, Tom Brady's the reason he kept in check, and they were a serious Super Bowl contender, so he made sure he stayed on the team. The Chargers, he might get some money from them and go off the end, go off the cliff, go off the whack job again. However, Chargers fans, if you give him a one-year deal, a prove-it-year deal, $6, $7, $8 million, not a whole lot of risk. I'm thinking 5, 6, 7 range. You got about $20 million in cap space. Justin Herbert is young enough to take a risk like this. I just think the dude you're going to have Justin Herbert for 15, 20 years, take some risks along the way to go out there and beat an aggressive team that can go to the next level. If you look at a receiving core between Keenan Allen, Antonio Brown, Mike Williams, Jared Cook, that is a receiving core that could take on Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, McCole Hardman, and it might even be better. And really, if you go out there and get Antonio Brown for the cheap deal, the prove-it deal, now in the NFL draft, you can focus on things better. NFL draft, we're looking at what do they do? Do they go Devontae Smith, J.C. Horn, Patrick Surtain, Rashawn Slater? If you go out there and get a receiver, you know you don't want it in the draft, and it'll make the draft an easier decision on who to go for. To me, if you just address it in free agency, the draft will be that much easier. I love this move. I don't think it will happen, but to me, the aggressiveness for just 1 year, give it a shot, see what happens. If it turns out he goes off the loose end, it's fine. You cut your losses. At least you took the risk and took the gamble to see if you could go to the next level. And on the NFL draft, like I said, if you go receiver in free agency and the receiving core set, you can strictly look at defense or offensive line in the draft and not have to worry about anything else in this receiving core. However, I don't think it'll happen. Brandon Staley, bringing a new coach, I don't know if he wants to deal with that kind of nut job in his locker room. Tom Telesco, I just don't see him making this move. That's not the type of guy. However, to me, I just think the upside is worth the risk. Antonio Brown, it's a whole new team for him. He went into Tampa Bay knowing Tom Brady stuck his neck out for him, and knowing he had to keep in check. The LA Chargers, if he gets $5-6 million, he might go off the deep end, like I said. But to me, it is worth the risk. We saw in the end of the season in the Buccaneers, he was a flash of what he used to be. And if he could go to the Chargers and be anything like he was, this Chargers team is a solidified playoff team to me. And I just think it is worth the risk of $4, $5, $6 million. You got about $20 million in cap space. Throw some out there. Take the risk. And like I said, it's just 1 year. Justin Herbert is young enough for this to become as worse as it could. He is young enough for this to just be one bad year in his career. Chargers, I just don't see. I do see the downside of 100% of how bad Antonio Brown can be. A nut job. He could not produce anything. He could be a mess in the locker room. But he could also be the reason you beat the Kansas City Chiefs, the reason you win the AFC West, the reason you make an AFC Championship. To me, it just makes things so much easier. Receiving core is probably, with Antonio Brown, at top 7 in the league. It makes the NFL draft easier, so you could go with Patrick Surtain, Caleb Farley, J.C. Horn, and now you got a secondary that got Derwin James, J.C. Horn, Chris Harris Jr., Michael Davis. That secondary is looking good. And now in the second round, you can look at offensive linemen and defensive ends. You don't have to worry about receivers because you're set. And who knows? I mean, what happens if you sign Antonio Brown and somehow, some damn way, Kyle Pitts falls to 13? Out of this world, unbelievable. That would take a miracle. But if you got an offense with Kyle Pitts, Antonio Brown, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Jared Cook, no one's beating that. No one. So I'm asking for a lot, and there's a lot of miracles and a lot of luck that has to go the Chargers' way. But to me, the risk is worth it. Just it boils down to being an easier path for the draft and Justin Herbert being young enough to take just one bad year out of his career. And it's like it's gonna ruin Justin Herbert's career. It's not like the Chargers are just gonna be awful with Antonio Brown. If anything, they'll just be the same what they were last year. To me, he's just a guy that could be the potential of being the same thing where you're at, or taken to the absolute next level for just a check of $5-6 million, whatever he's looking for. I don't know the number. I could be wrong. If he's out there asking for 12, 13, then scratch this. I don't know the exact number Antonio Brown's looking for, but to me, if the price is reasonable, the period of time you want to sign him is reasonable. To me, 1 year prove a deal is exactly what you look for, and you just have that type of angle that you realize aggressiveness wins in the NFL. I mean, look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Last year, they were aggressive and went out there and got Tom Brady. What did it result in? A Super Bowl. And this is in all sports. The LA Lakers, they were aggressive and sought out Anthony Davis. What did it result in? It's a championship. LA Dodgers in baseball, what did they do? They were aggressive and got Mookie Betts, and it resulted in a Super Bowl. Even the Kansas City Chiefs, the LA Chargers' biggest rival, they were going to the playoffs consistently. They were going 11-5. They were winning the division with Alex Smith. They said it's not enough. We're going to be aggressive. We're going to go out there and get him Patrick Mahomes. What did it result in? A Super Bowl. Chargers, be aggressive. Tom Telesco, take the risk. I understand if you don't want to. There's an opinion to both sides that both have logic and both make sense. But to me, it's just a hidden gem that could turn out to be Justin Herbert's number one weapon, a reason Justin Herbert becomes an MVP, a reason this Chargers team becomes a playoff team, this reason a Chargers team becomes a Super Bowl team. I know it's just one player, and he won't make them a Super Bowl contender instantly, but it's not like this guy can't upgrade the team if he's what he used to be, or just even when he was for the Bucs last year, he helped them win games. If he can help the Chargers win games, it's completely worth it. To me, you go for it, and if worse comes to worse, it was one bad year all around. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. I know not a sensitive topic, but not a topic anyone's really pursuing. No one thinks it's going to happen, and I don't think it will happen. But it is a topic at least worth questioning, at least worth considering, at least worth taking the time to think about the temptation and think if it's worth it. To me, if the price is right, go for it. And like I said, if it's $12 million, scratch this. But if he's looking for a value check, a 1 year prove a deal, go for it, Chargers. You have my blessing. Not that that means anything, but I like the idea. And thanks for watching, guys. Comment down below your thoughts. Thanks for watching. Again, 2-1.